Yeah.
AB3?
AB3. Where's my lipstick? I don't get to put it on. She thinks I'm playing.
Don't your lips get dry sometimes?
Now I taste like you.
Let me see. Pucker it up. Looks good.
And this, y'all, is going to be another relationship talk. We're going to talk about needs, expectations.
Can I have my lip gloss back? I didn't know we were sharing lip
She expected her
glosses.
lip gloss back. What else were we talking about? We had another topic.
You said sex.
Oh, love languages and sex. Just so that Sean can get a little snippet for the beginning. We're going to talk about...
Let's talk about sex, baby. Do you know that song?
It's too old for me. It's above my age range.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
We're going to talk about sex, needs, and love languages. We have 2 relationship experts. I have had a phenomenal track record. I've had 6 relationships that have made it past a year and not to 2. Allie's had one 20-year relationship that failed. So,
God, when you put it that way. That was really rude.
That was rude?
Yeah.
Well, are you still with him?
I wouldn't call it a failure.
Oh, well, I don't mean... I'm being funny. I'm being silly for the camera.
Oh, okay.
It was a learning lesson.
It was
a very long, expensive lesson.
Lots of learning was done there. Lots of growth.
I'm going to fix the windshield.
I don't consider that a failure when you grow.
That is a good point. Or, I mean, sometimes you have to go to failure to find out where you're supposed to be. Like in the gym. Like if you don't fail, how do you know you tried? You just don't. You don't know. I wasn't trying to poke fun. Just, I think a lot of, she's been listening to a lot of podcasts while I've been sitting here working, and one that she's been going over is kind of about finding your true love and how that's kind of a Western, more recent thought process. Like maybe you're not meant to find just one.
The one and only.
The one and only. Maybe it's many. No.
You're just shooting blanks right now.
I'm always shooting blanks. I have a vasectomy. That's in another video. I better be shooting blanks or I need my money back.
What they said is you're choosing a partner for this time in your life.
Thank you, my love. See, you complete me. When I don't know what to say, you just take the words right out of my mouth. I have food all over myself. We hooked you. We said we were going to talk about sex. We're going to talk about that last. So you can fast forward if you want, but you might miss all the good, juicy details before. Let's talk. Let's get a little vulnerable. You okay with that? We'll see. I like to push her buttons. In our own journey, I wanted this talk to be kind of something that was relevant to us, our needs and our needs expectations. So, I think, like, for us, we just had a recent little, I'm going to call it a breakthrough, and maybe it was because of a failure. You know, I failed to do what you needed in this case, and I wouldn't say you failed, but you just weren't fully up to par with what I needed. And through going through those experiences, we were able to better understand what each other needs and better ask for it. And then, did it happen this morning? And we're not talking about sex yet, but...
That hasn't happened.
Never? We're virgins? Oh, God.
I mean, today.
Today. We're virgins. Born again today. Oh, God. We're keeping it real. Okay, so, Ali, being herself, I don't know if there's a right or a wrong here. It's just her personality. I'm doing a lot of the talking for you. Gosh, you know how Brooke feels when I'm on the podcast. Are you a morning person?
I am.
Describe what that means.
I like to wake up and start with a fresh attitude for a new day.
Okay. I know what your morning routine looks like.
I like connection in the morning. I like to connect to myself. I like to connect to my partner.
Okay. And how do you practice that connection with yourself first? I know because I watch, but you can tell the people.
I like to journal in the morning, or sometimes I practice affirmations or meditate. drink my coffee, spend some time outside, maybe do a little stretching or yoga, go for a morning walk. Those are all different things I like, but definitely journaling and spending some time outdoors and just being in stillness and present is always there.
So you don't like wake up and roll out of bed and immediately hop on your phone and check all your notifications?
No, I try not to do that. I feel like the morning sets the pace for the rest of the day, and so I used to feel like every morning when I woke up I was being drug into my life, like dragged out of bed, and just like I had so many things to do and I couldn't even have a moment for myself, and that would set the pace for the entire day. So the entire day I just felt like I was being pulled around all day into all my obligations and responsibilities, and by the end of the day I was completely depleted and upset and annoyed because I felt like I was just being pulled all day long and I didn't really get to spend any time with myself.
That's how I feel almost every day. So
I don't need these now.
yeah, hopefully you guys can still hear all right. It is a little bit of a rainstorm outside. The Sunshine State is doing its thing again. So then with your partner, how does that fit in? Am I supposed to just go hide off in the corner while you do that, or I go do my work and you do your work, or maybe not?
I mean, either we can do that together, have some moments together, or you can start your morning your way, but...
What's that, Burger King, have it your way?
Have it your way if you want to be pulled into the day.
Well, when I'm alone, and you don't stay the night, sometimes I don't mind getting pulled into the day because I'm at my sharpest. I make decisions quickly and they're usually accurate. Like my time to shine, if I had to fight for my life, it would be in the morning. I'm not so good in the evenings as far as being focused and getting stuff done. However, Ali has voiced to me that for her partner, she wants there to be some sort of connection, especially if we're like in physical proximity. It's a little bit different. Like if you don't stay the night, you don't necessarily say I have to wake up and call you and establish that connection. I think in that case, it's almost like, are you thinking about brownies right now? Do you want a brownie?
I always want a brownie. No,
Play along.
No,
you weren't thinking about it, but if I had a tray of brownies here, you'd be like, oh, yeah, I do want one of those. Well, I'm the brownies in this case, and of course you want a piece of me. But when I'm far away, you're not always thinking about it. But if I'm right next to you, I don't have an office I can work in. I just work wherever I have thumbs, usually. So I'm learning more about Ali and how she really values establishing that connection at the beginning of the day. And then I can go work, and then I can go be myself. And I did not understand her needs or how to fulfill them or why until I kind of got it on the back end. So for me, I'm the other way around. I don't like to go to sleep if I feel like there's tension or distance or upsetness, whether or not it's even relationship-wise. Like if Ali had a really rough day, I'd like to connect and make sure I've done all I can as a partner before we go to bed. Even whether we're together or apart. And so like I'm really big on like a good night message. It doesn't have to be anything long. Something like good night, I love you, winky face or smiley face or whatever face emoji you want to pick would probably do. Would probably suffice. Just to let me know everything's good. Then I can just go off to sleep. So I don't really need the morning thing. And she doesn't really need the night thing.
At night I'm tired, I'm just like...
So now we both understand each other better. One is not right and one is not wrong. It's just how Ali functions and how I function. And that's part of, I think, a really big thing in relationships. Whether or not you are the same as your partner, and I don't think you should play the lottery and just try and find the perfect person. I'd rather find a person that's willing to work and listen to me and grow with me than the person that just comes like a Barbie out of the box, perfect, ready to go. because I'm going to change over time. And if they're perfect for me right now, but they're not willing to put in the work to keep working on themselves, it's not a good fit for me long term. So that was the first part that I wanted to cover, was the needs assessment. So
finding out your partner's needs and what they value and communicating it so that you can work to compromise with each other and find a happy medium.
And I hadn't really brought up the nighttime thing because Ali had done a pretty, like an A or an A minus if it was a report card over time with this, but I think I've probably been in like the C minus range on the morning side of things. But Ali didn't want to, I'm using your words from today, she didn't want to like force me to change. She kind of wanted me to do what I felt comfortable doing. However, I brought up the point that there's probably a lot of things I'm comfortable doing, I just didn't know that they were important. So I need that communication, that back and forth from my partner. And if you tell me this is what you like or this is what you expect, that's not an obligation, that's not you telling me I have to do it, it's giving me the choice. You know? You asked me to, sorry, go ahead.
I'm learning that it's better to communicate it and not just expect my partner to know what my needs are, or wait for the partner that has similar needs to me because, hey, if he's a morning person and he values connection in the morning, then we're on the same page and I don't have to express that. Or just to take it personal because my partner just wakes up and the first thing he does is grab his phone and start working while we're still laying in bed.
Guilty as charged. Think about it this way though. If I always just told you good morning from the start, not that I don't tell you good morning, but like take 5 or 10 minutes to like establish like how did you sleep and what are your plans for the day? I love you. All those little things. It's not just a checkbox. Have the best day ever. Have the best day ever. But like, how do you feel now? Today's day one maybe, where you know that this is not this person's normal inclination, but they're taking that extra step to make sure you're taken care of. I think that matters more than if this was just my normal inclination.
Because it shows that you're willing to put the work in the relationship to do whatever I need to be happy or to feel fulfilled, emotionally fulfilled. That
takes us into sex. No. Gotta keep it funny for y'all. Yes. So, willing to work. I'll be fully honest with y'all. I have had 6 relationships that failed, and I think I worked really hard with all 6 of those people over the last decade and a half to try to do anything on my end to make the relationship work. And I learned a lot of lessons. I'm not even gonna lie. When I met Ali, I didn't think we were gonna be serious. I just thought we'd hang out a little bit, go on some dates, and
you just wanted to hit it and quit it.
So did she. No. But I think I was like, I'm not changing for anybody. I'm not gonna, if they align with me, I'll roll with it. But if not, I'm out. And
I kind of had the same mentality, so it's funny how we got here.
And I think Ali had the kind of mentality, because you said this, so I'm just gonna say it, that if this didn't feel right to you, you might push it away. You might try to sabotage it or get rid of it. And I've also had the same mindset. Not so much that I would sabotage it, but just like, you know what, this is too much work. I got too many other things that are calling me, and whatever. I don't need it. I can walk away. I'll be okay.
Yeah, and me, after being in a relationship after 20 years, it's like, I'm not going to waste my time with anybody at this point. I didn't waste the 20 years, but that was a large amount of my life.
Almost half your life. More than half your life.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's like, at this point, when I was dating before you, it was within a month, I knew if I even wanted to put the energy into that person. And I was like,
I made it.
Within a month, I'm like, oh, this isn't going to work. I'm done. And with you, it's like, even if I've had that thought process, we've always sat down and talked about it.
And I got to hand it to you. You've had that communication with me, factoring back to our first relationship talk, the communication. If you hadn't shared that with me, I probably wouldn't have known how serious you were about this. on either end, on how serious you are about valuing yourself and your time, and also making sure you're doing what you can to make it work. So within the last few weeks, even, like, this is kind of crazy to say, but like we're approaching 4 months, right? It's been a fast 4 months. I've done so much in my personal life, and you've done a good bit in yours. A lot's changed since I've met you for you. Mm-hmm. I made the conscious decision that I'm choosing Ali. Almost like I feel like people should in marriage, because a lot of people don't do this, but like, I'm choosing this person and I'm going to put in effort. Even there's going to be some days where it's harder. Yesterday was a pretty hard day for me relationship-wise. But I've made that choice that I want to give this my best shot. I can say I've never had a relationship this healthy in my life before. And so I think that's worth working towards. The times where I'm like, this is just another thing on my plate and I'm stressed out. I think that's my own inability to cope with stress, or maybe I just do have a lot on my plate. But like, what am I risking giving up by walking away from something like this? Or another thing to think of it like, okay, I have these sponsors or these clients. If they left me and I had to go find more, could I? Yeah. If this relationship didn't work out, would it be easy to find something on this caliber? Again, the answer is no. And it's just been, for me, it's been healthy. Even if Ali decided literally right now to walk away, I've learned a lot and I can take a lot from this. And I've enjoyed my time. I've not just sit here and fantasized or worried about the future to the point where I haven't been able to enjoy, for the most part, each day. So, needs assessments. Talk to your partners. Be vulnerable. Tell them exactly what you fucking need. There's no goddamn mind readers out there. There might be some psychics or whatever, but they're not dating you. So,
and if you're dealing with a narcissist or a person that is not a safe space for you to express your needs, that's a red flag.
That's a red flag, yeah.
And that's why I think it's been hard for me, because I've had red flags before, and expressing my needs has been a little difficult. It's almost easier for me to shut down and cut ties and be like, hey, this isn't meeting my needs, I'll just move on and find somebody else, start over, versus doing what we're doing, which is taking work, but it's being vulnerable, expressing our needs, and then we're both having to practice that safe space for each other.
Mm-hmm. I know I talk a lot. I can ramble. When Ali was ready to talk to me last night about needing that closeness and the connection in the morning, I did a real good job in my eyes of just like shutting my mouth and letting her talk. Even to the point where there were some long, awkward silences, and I was like, I'm just gonna keep it shut. Let her get anything she has out, because I want to be that safe space for her. I didn't want to just argue with her or prove to her how I was right. Like, I needed to understand her side, and I think that's a big part of this too. Like, when I understood how important her morning is, it made me think of how important my nighttime routine is, and it gave me some clarity on how I can be better for her, and gave her a little bit of clarity on where I'm coming from as well. So I hope somebody gets something good out of this. Give me a like if you like it. Comment something you want to hear about next. But we still got 2 topics to dive into. It's going to be a long one.
Yeah.
Love languages. Ali even said this on the way here. She's like, I'm not even really sure what your love languages are. I would say mine are somewhat fluid.
I agree.
Like, I thought it was touch, and that was coming from, I thought it was quality time. Or, actually, prior to that, I thought, okay, what are the 5 love languages? Let's start there, because some people probably haven't read the book. We have quality time, touch,
Acts of service,
words of affirmation,
and gifts.
And touch does not mean sex. That is something else entirely. Touch is like that. That's touch. So coming from a verbally abusive relationship, I thought words of affirmation was what I needed. It was really just, I was substantially lacking that. And then coming from a couple, we talked actually about this today, other Hispanic, Latin American style relationships that I was in, I got a lot of physical touch. Like, your people, Cubans, are just like all over each other. Yes, so you're all like, you can't even walk around them without them like touching you or rubbing on you or just standing on you. And I don't even necessarily mean your partner, like just in general, the culture. So I was so like stimulated touch-wise that I didn't think that that wasn't a love language for me. But then going into a relationship where it wasn't, or even dating where it wasn't really present, I was like, oh shit, I actually like this little physical touch here. So I think right now, I don't know. I mean, my words of affirmation. How many times have I asked you, "Are you okay?" I just want the affirmation. Yep, I'm good. And actually, I've been coached that it's better for me to ask, "How are you feeling?" than "Are you okay?" Because "Are you okay?" almost implies that you're not okay. Whereas "How are you feeling?"
Like you're
is
giving off this energy that something is not okay.
Yeah.
It's like, why I feel like it's like, you're being stank, or you have a stank look, or you have a bad energy. Like, what's wrong?
I mean, sometimes you do have a stank look. I just want to know how you're feeling, babe.
Resting bitch face.
So yeah, I'm a little bit fluid here, and I think I'm pretty good at expressing anything that I do need.
You don't.
I don't know.
You don't really have a lot of needs, in my opinion, that you express to me.
Yeah.
Or I just do a good job of fulfilling your needs that you don't feel the need to express anything.
Yeah, I mean, well, like last night, there wasn't as good of a good night routine as I wanted, so I expressed that. But usually, yeah, you're pretty damn good. What can I say? There's a reason I'm with you. Ali is maybe more intuitive. I don't know what it is. She can just like feel it and know it, or she's just aligned to love in the way that I want to receive love. Me, on the other hand, I am clueless as a bat flying underwater. Like, I don't know shit. I was never taught. Mom and Dad, I don't know what you were doing. You never taught me to open a door. But I guess in like Cuban or Latin culture, maybe just in the rest of the world, maybe just not in my brain, it is a big deal to open the door for a woman. How many times have I opened a door for you? Probably less than you have fingers. But I'm getting better. I opened at least 2 doors for you yesterday. And 0 today. Well,
1 step forward, 2 step back.
we're going to the gym. I'll open door there. If I can get in. They might have to buzz me in, but I'll still let you walk through first. But she's expressed that to me. She's let me know that.
And I think for me, it's not just the act of the door. It's almost like the act of you treating me like your lady. That's what I like. And I think that's what I'm trying to express.
Yeah. And you've had that before. You've had that modeled for you in your culture and given to you by your previous partners. So
I've had very protective, like, I'm your man, you're my lady, let me protect you and be your man. And with you, it's more like you're a great partner in all aspects, but it's almost like we're self-sufficient in that part. Like, we're equals. It's not so much of the masculine, feminine energy. It's almost like we're just being ourselves. We're just doing things, almost like best friends.
I do feel like you became my best friend before you became my partner. I mean, I know we were like intimate and basically everything from relatively early on the start, but like I feel like that friendship evolved for me first before the deeper connections. I don't know what that means. I think it means I was maybe a little more guarded. I was very careful who I was letting into my life. It had to be somebody that brought a lot to the plate. And that's the other thing. Like, I was not looking for, I have a tendency, I want to save animals and I want to save people. Not a good look for a relationship partner. Like, I needed somebody that was self-sufficient. Somebody that could open their door if they fucking needed to. And you can.
And I can drive, apparently.
And she can drive. She's doing a great job today. Yeah. Well, okay. So the whole love language concept. I said this last night. It's people say all the time, treat others the way you want to be treated. Treat others the way they want to be treated. That's better. So, I might be really big on watching a movie together, like a movie from my childhood. That might mean a lot to me. But for Ali, it might mean a sunset at the beach, or it might mean she needs that touch. And the analogy I gave this morning when we were talking is like, if I have 15 minutes to show her I love her, I could spend that 15 minutes picking out flowers, like a gift. I could write the best love letter I could in 15 minutes, and that would be words of affirmation. But I think for Ali, the quality time, sitting there like locking eyes and talking, or physical touch, or the cool thing about quality time is usually you can do physical touch at the same time. I think that would matter more to her. So it's the love languages are about learning what your partner best receives love from, and then learning how to do that better.
And I also want to say that it is fluid and it does change. I used to be much more of a words of affirmation person, and looking back now, I think it's because I didn't get that growing up. And so now that I've kind of healed that wound and I've worked a lot on my own affirmations, I feel like now I'm more of I want that quality time and that physical touch. I want to like connect beyond words. I still like words. I still like acts of service. I still like gifts. I like all of them. But I guess right now where I'm at in my life is the quality time and the touch.
Yeah, I nailed that one. Speaking of nailing things, I had all these ideas earlier when we were talking about sex, and now I'm like blanking. And I don't think it's on camera. It's just we were on a very specific train of thought earlier.
We were talking about initiating sex.
Initiating sex. Whose job is that?
Comment
below. Whose job is that? Yeah.
Let's see if you're listening to this video.
Is it the man's job? But what if you're gay? What if it's two men? What if it's two women? Whose job is it then? I guess you could assign the dominant role or whatever you want to say there. But I think this is good to have this discussion. For women, typically, they are expected to be the ones that receive the sex, or like the sex comes to them. They probably get way more offers than they actually want to be offered when they walk down the street or anything else like that. But in a relationship, I think the argument could be made that it's like the woman's job to accept the sex when the man offers it. Now we're speaking strictly heterosexual relationships. I'm not an expert. I'm just speaking on my own experience, and those are the only relationships I have experience on. I feel like on the man's side, it's more expected that the man initiates sex. Do we agree?
Is there a car flipped over?
Is there a car flipped over? We interrupt this regularly scheduled programming to determine if there's a car flipped over or not.
Doesn't that look like that? The tires look like that.
Holy shit! Yep, wheels are up. That is not good. Got my other phone. See if I can't remember to overlay this footage on there. Ali, remind me to do that. Holy shit!
That would explain this traffic.
Flipped upside down and burnt. Holy shit balls. Okay, that's a bad day.
Oh my god, and look at that car over there. That's completely crushed.
That's a bad day. Have a bad day. Sing a sad song.
We interrupt.
Okay, this is probably that.
Interrupt this regular scheduled whatever programming for reminder. Wear your seatbelts.
She didn't have her seatbelt on correctly the other day in the back seat, and I gave her some shit for that. I did use, from our first talk, I feel scared, unsafe, anxious when I see you with your seatbelt not completely on. I can't imagine what it would be like to lose you, and I can't imagine the guilt that I would feel if you were to lose your life because I was not a little more annoying in nagging you to put your seatbelt on correctly. So.
That works so much better for somebody like me who's a little rebellious and I don't like to be told what to do.
Except in the bedroom.
We've already discussed that, and I'm glad you understand. That's the only time you can dominate.
Well, next time we're in the bedroom, I'm going to tell you to wear your damn seatbelt.
All right,
and
back
then
to
we'll
sex.
Talk about our sex life. So yeah, I feel like we've come full circle.
The initiation we were talking about.
I think it's been placed upon the man, and I can say that like in my own life, I have to make a lot of decisions every day, and sometimes it doesn't matter what it is. Just another single decision feels overwhelming. So, Ali did bring up some good points this morning. It's usually me that has to initiate. But then again, she's like, well, when am I supposed to? Because you're always working. there seems to be a common theme here.
And you have expressed that when you are working, you don't really want to be pulled out of that for anything, even sex.
Yeah, I mean,
you did express to me something that could work.
Yes. I mean, for example, like if Ali's teaching yoga, I'm not about to go like feel up on her in the middle of a class and be like, hey, it's time to tango. And the same for me. If I'm actively, like if I'm leaving a voice note for a client or viewing somebody's form or writing a meal plan, like it takes, I know I got a really big head with a big brain, but it takes effort, you know? So I get kind of locked in. I'd like to finish that. So I told her that, you know, probably a good way for us to continue working on this is like, hey, I need help with something for about 15 minutes, if you know what I mean. And then that would clue me into, oh, there's a window of opportunity here. I can finish up what I'm working on and go work on something else for a little bit. And I told her that would give us about 13 minutes of cuddles after about 2 minutes of work. And that sounds wonderful. We get quality time, physical touch. She's happy, I'm happy. I don't know if anybody's still watching, but I'm full of jokes. And at my own expense because I don't care. But I think that could work. I think that could really help. I think probably what we're still navigating is I don't have an office. My office is called the living room table that is connected to the kitchen, the dining room table that's connected to the living room and the kitchen.
Yeah.
So like I'm always darn near working, and I don't have a door I can close when I'm working. So it's like it's probably hard if Ali's there and she's like, well, where do I?
You're always glued to your phone, which is what you work off of a lot of times, and so like you're like walking around the house just staring at your screen. I'm like, I don't know what he's doing. I'm assuming he's working. But
watching porn every time.
So it's like, do I pull him out of that? Do I just let him be? But then if I let him be, I mean, the whole day will go like that. There's nothing in there.
She said there's nothing in there. There is a drop in here.
Oh, God.
If I was starving in the desert, I would have drank that. I guess dying of thirst. But either way.
So my point is, I don't mind initiating. I just didn't know where I would fit that into the busy schedule that he has.
Well, I got about 20 minutes of footage left, so. All right. I'm gonna shut down. Awkward silence.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know about that one.
No.
I didn't get that one at first.
Well, this is YouTube, so we got to keep it PG-13-ish. We can cuss all day long on YouTube, but no boobs. Isn't that funny? Unless it's like natural boobs, like in Africa or like South America, like with a tribe. Oh, the world is funny. But I can show my nipples. I think we've lost her. She's off somewhere else now.
I just don't know where you're going with this.
I have no idea.
You literally just derailed and went like...
Okay, let's get this train back on track. All right. What else was I saying this morning? Because I thought I had good things. I was like, don't even talk anymore. Let me save this for this episode.
Well, we were talking about the initiation thing.
Initiation, okay.
You're talking about on sex?
Yeah.
Expressing needs in the
expressing
bedroom?
needs. In the bedroom. In the bedroom.
Don't assume that your partner just likes certain things. Express, ask, what ways do you like to receive pleasure? Mm-hmm. And be a safe space for your partner to express that instead of getting defensive and being like, well, I know how to please a woman or I know how to please a man. Kind of like every new relationship is going to be different. Everybody's different. Everybody enjoys different things.
Everybody is different.
So just being able to have that safe space with your partner where you feel like you can express, because that can make your sex that much better.
I think you even said, I'm really throwing you out there now.
Go ahead.
I think you said something along the lines of, if you want some coaching for that, I can help you. And I'm like, shit, free coaching? Sign me up.
I mean, if I see that there's a little bit of a struggle to get something, sometimes I don't want to say anything because I want to let you explore, and then other times I'm like, hey, if you would like some help with that, I can show you.
We'll just play the hot and cold game.
And I also say, how can I pleasure you? What would you like? how can I make this even more enjoyable for you? And at the beginning, you were very much like, oh, I'm simple. I just, I don't need much. And it's evolved.
It has evolved.
Yeah.
I've definitely gotten more comfortable. It's taken me time. Whereas,
And that's okay.
yeah.
But it's because we've been talking about it and building that safe space that you feel comfortable enough to express that now.
Yeah.
We've been building that bond in the bedroom.
Practice makes perfect. Maybe. Yeah.
And I think this is important for a lot of people just because I've been in a 20-year relationship and I've talked to a lot of people in long marriages, and sometimes people just don't express because they're afraid to hurt their partner's feelings, or they think that their partner just doesn't know how to do things and they're just stuck with this, and it's like, no, I've learned that you can express your needs, and if you're with the right partner who's willing to listen, it can really improve your sex life.
We should be charging y'all for this. Should have a needs expression, love language, sex, and yoga seminar sometime. Seriously, do it. I think the biggest thing, everything that we've said today really just delves back into the first relationships talks. So
Communication.
if you haven't seen it already, go back. It's communication. It's more effective communication on needs assessment. It's more effective communication on how to be loved. It's more communication on how to be fucked. It's all of those things.
How to make love to someone.
I'm sorry, yes, make love to someone. Guys, I'm talking to you, ladies.
Give and receive pleasure.
Listen to her. So, I'm not this crazy, okay? I try to be a little extra for the camera. Y'all wouldn't want to watch me if I was just normal. That's why I'm weird as shit.
That's why you got green hair and a vegan tattoo on your head.
Yeah. What are we putting on the other side? Giant penis?
A green one. They always want to know.
Does the carpet match the drapes? Oh, God.
That's the devious laugh. That's when the wheels are turning.
Should we tell them about that? Nobody's still watching at this point. I have a theory. Oh, God. I'm about to get canceled, but I have a theory that everyone is either smart, like myself, or they are either dumb or devious or the combination of both. What do I mean by that? What was my example? I had a really good example the other day.
My love, you talk so much I can't remember it all.
Is that it? The damn truth. So, like, all right. I think it had to do with, like, somebody, like, trying to get one over on me online. Like, they were trying to trick me about something. And, like, some people are just dumb. Like, they'll, like, blatantly contradict themselves and, like, lie and, like, leave a paper trail. And I'm like, you're just too dumb for this. Some people are devious. They'll just straight up lie to you, and you would never know until you figure it out. So, like, you're just never going to know because they're devious. Some people are dumb and devious. Like, I guess that's the first one. Man. All right, in my own life, how have I been both? I've been devious when I've lied to Ali.
How have you lied?
Oh, God, now I've only lied to you, like, twice. But it's been, like, one was, like, a surprise, and I didn't want to give it away. So I said you were wrong. And then the other...
Was it about Tootsie? You did lie
Yes,
to me about
I
that.
did. So here, okay, lying. I can't figure out the dumb and devious thing. Maybe I am dumb. This is one of the 2 times. I do remember this. You're right. It was about Tootsie. Ali's dog passed away last month. Yeah. And I was watching Tootsie. I did not cause this, by the way. But she was suffering from some seizures, and Ali had left to go
Do yoga.
and Tootsie actually had a seizure while she was gone. And I think Ali asked, how are things going? And I said...
You texted me, how are things going or something, and then I said everything's good, and then you called me. Because I said everything's good, I'm done with class, and then you called me immediately, and I said, what's wrong? Is everything okay? Because it struck me as if you were nervous about something. And you said, oh, everything's fine. Or I said, what's wrong? Is Tootsie okay? Is everything okay with Tootsie? Did something happen? And you said, no, she's fine. And then when I got home, you told me.
Yeah, because she was like right about to start class or something, and the seizure had already happened, so there was nothing to do. There was nothing like that she could take action on, so I didn't want to like ruin her hour of yoga where she's like worried. So, but then I promptly told on myself when you got home and admitted I was a liar. All right, well, that's all I got. I hope people don't think I'm an asshole for the whole dumb and devious thing. I don't think people are actually like that, but there are just some dumb people that are sneaky, and then there's some sneaky people, and then there's some dumb people, but most of y'all aren't. Anybody that likes or comments or shares or sends this to their mom, to their kids, to their niece, to their nephew, to their brother's cousin's ex, or Alex's goats, you're not dumb or devious, and I love you. And with that, it was a great talk. One for the books. We'll do another one. Let us know what y'all want to see next.
2 for the books.
2 for the books.
This is the second one.
Second one. Have the best day ever. See y'all next time.